The mountains of Tucson, Arizona. Nestled among them, two teams will compete for what could be a historic victory on December 30th in the Arizona Bowl, presented by Nova Home Loans. Welcome into the ASN studios alongside former Marshall and NFL running back Doug Chapman. I'm Monica McNutt, and this is the Arizona Bowl preview show. That game on December 30th will feature Air Force out of the Mountain West and South Alabama out of the Sun Belt.
And this is why they play the games, for the postseason. When I was in college, I couldn't wait to get to a bowl game. I expected to play in a bowl game every year. It means your team did really well. And you get a nice out-of-town trip to a town you likely have not been to. So fun times for the guys.
Well, let the trip to Tucson commence. Air Force, Troy Calhoun's Falcons. They are no stranger to bowl games. Air Force is playing in its 26th bowl game. They've earned 9 bowl bids in Coach Calhoun's 10 seasons and have been victorious 3 times in those matchups. As for the Jaguars of South Alabama, they are in just their 2nd bowl game in 4 years. Now keep in mind that their program is just shy of 5 years old as an FBS program. Joey Jones and his squad will be seeking their first program bowl victory in Tucson. Air Force played their last game November 25th. South Alabama, their last game was December 3rd. The bowl bid was announced on December 4th. So we're talking about 4 weeks without competition for the Jaguars and even longer for the Falcons. How do the coaches make sure that their teams are rested and ready to go?
You start to look at coaches' salaries. You ever looked at them before?
I've heard about
This
them.
is why they get paid the big bucks, because it's an art to preparing your squad for bowl games. You have to manage the guys' time off, know when to let them hit, when to take the pads off, how much conditioning they need, and also you got to factor in travel time and how to practice once you travel to the location. That's why these coaches get paid the big bucks. Now, if you look at it, Air Force has had more practice doing this. They expect to go to a bowl game at the end of the year. South Alabama, much younger program, just actually was established in 2009, new to the FBS level, but they're a little more new to it. Air Force has the experience. Coach Calhoun and company, as you see there, he's done this.
We take a look at those resumes. You mentioned it. Troy Calhoun has done it before, and the Air Force graduate, class of '89, has been at the helm of that program for a decade. 76 and 53 overall. Shout out to him. And then on the opposite end, Coach Joey Jones for the Jags. He started the season with a big bang, the 21-20 victory over Mississippi State, and now they hope to finish with a bang. Keep in mind that they lost 4 games by a touchdown or less, and one of those included an overtime contest. All right, now there's a big difference between taking the reins of an established program and then having to go out and get the carriage, the horse, and go get the reins of a program that is not established. Does that matter at this point when you look at Jones and Calhoun?
It can to a certain extent, and here's how it can matter. When players go to colleges that are expected to have success and go to bowl games, they feel the pressure of having to carry that on. So if you walk into Air Force, you know it's been done before. Fisher DeBerry, the Hall of Fame coach who was there before Coach Calhoun, coached me actually in the Hula Bowl in Maui, an all-star game after I left Marshall. Got it started. Coach Calhoun picked up the reins and kept the tradition going. On the other side, South Alabama, they're a younger program, so the tradition's not there. But once you put the pads on, Monica, and the guys take the field, all that tradition goes out the window. You get smacked in the face.
Right.
Don't nobody worry about no tradition right there. You're trying to play football.
No, you're not wondering how old your program
Not
is
at all.
at that point? Okay, senior running back Jacoby Owens, he moved into 4th place on the career rushing list at the Academy. He's just the 11th Falcon in school history to go over the 2,000-yard career mark. He was a Dolph Walker and Maxwell Award candidate. Now, Owens knows on offense, the Falcons have to stay locked in on themselves.
Offensively, always worried about what we're doing. And that's how we practice. We practice against different fronts, and we make sure that we have these certain players for these different fronts. So when it comes to the game, they could throw anything at us, and we'll just snap into what we know that works. And that's honestly how we do. It's all about us, not necessarily who we're playing.
On the other side, Jaguars senior defensive end Randy Allen has 11.5 sacks on the season and 18.5 tackles for loss. He had a stellar game to close out the regular season with a 3-sack performance for 21 yards loss in that game. So he was all over the place. Now, when you look at it, Air Force is averaging 322 rushing yards a game. The Jags are averaging more passing yards than the Falcons at 243. Contrasting styles, who do you think has the advantage?
I think that Air Force has the advantage because we've seen what they do work consistently. They're going to run the ball, run it, and run it some more from the quarterback position, the two B backs, the A backs. But then you look on the other side, you see Randy Allen in that defense. You see the amount of sacks that he had. These are against teams that are traditional drop-back teams. So they're not used to seeing the offensive attack what Air Force had. You see him giving the ball in the A-gap there, and you look at the difference here. This is a depth run. You see Pumphrey, they're getting the ball from depth. They're not going to see a lot of that with Air Force. Air Force is going to hide the ball a lot, get on the perimeter. Quarterback's going to keep it, give it to the fullback. It's going to be how long it takes South Alabama to adjust to what they're doing up front offensively in that run game, because if you make one bad read, you're out of position, one guy's not on the right upfield shoulder, it turns into a run like this, touchdown. And Air Force gets big chunk plays, and then they suck you in with the run and throw the ball over your head.
Sports and life is all about adjustments. Senior safety Weston Steelhammer, he ranks 6th nationally with 6 interceptions this season. On his career, his 17 interceptions make him the NCAA's active leader in picks. He's tied for first in the school's record books in that category. Now, bear in mind, he also leads his team in tackles with 75 on the year, 219 in his career, which makes him Air Force's career active leader in that category as well. It's safe to say that he's on the prowl defensively in the secondary. How will Coach Jones have to adjust his strategy to deal with that?
Well, first of all, is there a more perfect name for a defensive player than Weston Steelhammer?
That's such a great name.
I mean, he was born to play defense, but he's a ball hawk. The problem with me, though, with Air Force's offense, for their last 5 games, they gave up over 300 yards passing. While he's a ball hawk and he comes up and plays the run very well, they've had issues as a unit stopping the pass. You see here, Navy able to get some deep balls. He's able to come up with interceptions, but overall, they have not played the pass very well. Looking at South Alabama, wide receiver Josh McGee and tight end Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett will be playing in the NFL next year, ladies and gentlemen. They're very good players. They're going to have to make it one-on-one matchups and see if they can create mismatches there. Steelhammer, try to get him aggressive, get some passes over his head, but that's how South Alabama's got to pick up chunk plays.
So if that's the case, Steelhammer's fantastic. Overall secondary, maybe not so spectacular. How can South Alabama take advantage of that?
Chunk plays. Dallas Davis has got to be on point. I want to see him play the way that he played week 1 when they came out and got that win on the road at Mississippi State versus the way he played against a nickel state where he threw 4 interceptions. He's thrown for more interceptions than he has touchdowns, but if he's consistent, they run the ball well on first down, don't put him in a lot of third down and long, and they're able to convert third downs, they'll be fine. They have to take advantage of the one-on-one matchup. They have good athletes out there between Everett and McGee. They've got to take advantage of those matchups.
All right. Well, coming up, we're not done at all. We're going to hear from Jaguars head coach Joey Jones on the focus and the preparation that's required as his squad gets ready for the program's 2nd ever bowl game. Both teams will feature sophomore quarterbacks who are making their first starts in bowl games. Will there be nerves to overcome? How big of a factor is experience? We're going to get into all of that after the break. And the Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl, brought to you by Nova Home Loans between Air Force and South Alabama. Friday, December 30th.